Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, the AP Ledger Blind Spot, Uncovering the Use Tax Risk Lurking Within. My name's Chris Lynch. I'm the CMO at Sovos. It's a pleasure to be here with you today at CFO Live 2025, and I think you're going to find this topic of use tax really fascinating. We're going to talk about what it means and how you might be able to address it within your business. So let's get started. First, let's do a little bit of a level set between sales tax, which I think gets a lot of the attention, and use tax. First of all, sales tax is very visible. It's something that you see in your everyday life. It's charged by the vendor, it shows up on invoices or receipts, and it's usually handled by your e-commerce or your ERP platform. And there's a process, there's governance around this. It's usually automated, and there's a clean-cut audit trail that happens. Use tax, this is where we find that chaos can live, okay? So here's a simple example. Imagine you buy $50,000 worth of laptops from a retailer for your employees. The vendor doesn't charge sales tax because they might not be registered in your state specifically. So that responsibility falls on you. Your AP team has to recognize it, calculate it, and record it. But more often than not, this is the type of thing that can slip through the cracks. And to be honest, if you're sitting there saying, well, I'm not a retailer or I'm not an e-com business, this is actually incredibly common in B2B purchases too. From industrial equipment to software subscriptions to office furnishings, anytime tax isn't charged at the point of sale, your organization is expected to self-assess. Now, here, let's look at the bigger picture. The US is actually an outlier in this situation. Governments in Europe, Latin America, and Asia, they recognized this gap years ago, and that's why they responded with the strict e-invoicing mandates to ensure tax is captured up front, often right at the point of the transaction. That shift, if you look at that shift and how it's happened, it's virtually eliminated use tax blind spots overseas. So that really raises the question, if you do a lot of business in the United States, what could be next? Could the US be next? And if so, is your business actually ready? Auditors already know that this weak spot exists, and so that would be an argument that you should be ready. And they're not spending time chasing down sales tax errors anymore. They're digging into AP ledgers where use tax liabilities can pile up quietly, but also quite significantly. Now, this isn't just theoretical. If you're sitting there asking if it's theoretical, let me just give some real examples we've been working with and seeing across the industry with finance and tax leaders. Number one, there was a retail chain with a very decentralized AP model. They had high purchase card volume, and it was hit with a $2.1 million audit across 3 different states. The cause? Well, the cause was vendors not charging tax and internal teams not catching it in time. There was a Fortune 100 manufacturer. They found $4 million in under-accrued tax after expanding operations post an acquisition. And a financial services company with a very smart tax team, but really without the visibility they needed, they ran a retroactive review and found $1.8 million in overpaid tax. That was money that was just really sitting on the table. So this is not hypothetical at all. And the common thread here is these weren't tax failures. They were use tax blind spots that were hidden right there within the AP ledger. And they weren't caught with existing systems or processes because those systems were often built for sales tax, not use tax. So coming back to that important distinction we were making earlier. So what is the solution? What's a better way to see the risk? The answer just isn't another tool or bolt-on tax engine. The real shift is in how we think about use tax. Not as a compliance afterthought, but as a finance-driven risk domain. Tax compliance platforms equipped with modern use tax capabilities are built to do what spreadsheets and legacy engines and even some of the existing automated business processes we have today cannot do. They need to analyze millions of transactions in hours. They need to catch vendor-charged errors and mismatches automatically. They simulate audit scenarios, letting you proactively fix these issues before they even happen. And they don't require a massive ERP integration project to get started. At Sovos, we've actually built OptiTax to do exactly this, but we didn't just build it for tax teams. We built it for finance and AP leaders who need visibility, defensibility, and speed. So it works with your existing data across all your systems and gives you dashboards, audit logs, and peace of mind as it relates to use tax. But more than that, it lets you take use tax off the fire drill list and move it into a position of confidence and control. And by the way, we integrate this with a broader indirect tax suite, which handles all of your sales and use tax core responsibility, as well as your VAT and international indirect tax liabilities. So let me close with an example. Earlier this year, the CFO of a mid-sized manufacturing firm received an audit notice from the state of Illinois. And really at its face, nothing unusual. These things happen. Their sales tax systems were clean, they were fully automated, and had passed similar audits before. But this time, the problem wasn't with the sales tax. Again, it was with use tax. The audit focused instead on something they hadn't given much attention to. It started with a few untaxed purchases from out-of-state vendors. Then it widened to include P card transactions, untaxed software subscriptions, and some drop shipments from a newly acquired business unit. And within weeks, the state auditor had flagged over 800,000 in missed use tax accruals, plus interest and penalties. So this just gives you an example of how quickly the scope of this can become a very significant issue. And when we talked with the CFO later admitted the following: it blindsided us. We thought our sales tax systems had us covered. No one told us that use tax was where the real risk lives. Sales tax will always get attention, and rightly so. It's pervasive, not just in our life within business, but we see it every day as consumers. But use tax is where the cracks can form within your business. It's the unscalable side of tax compliance. It's the manual one, the messy one, and it's where the biggest surprises can hit your bottom line. You don't need another consultant to really know that this is true. You need a lens. You need a way to see what auditors see before they do. So if this resonates with you and you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. We can tell you more about how to look at this from a strategic standpoint within your business. I'd love to connect after the session. Please visit our website. But thank you for joining us today for CFO Live 2025. Have a great day.